This is Laura DeFranco, holistic physical therapist and owner of Brave Healer Productions. I'm excited to bring you my new holistic healing series where you're going to learn from the experts what it means to live fiercely alive, mind, body, and soul. I invite you now to take a breath, relax, and feel the vibe of the words my guest has to share with you today. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this Brave Healer revolution. We aim to change the world one brave word at a time around here. And today, to help me do that, I have some very special guests. These women aren't just authors, they are expert healing arts practitioners. Please help me welcome three of the contributors to the Ultimate Guide to Self-Healing book series. This is volume 3. Hey, ladies.
Hey, Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
So you guys, the first book in the series was born back in the beginning of COVID when I literally woke up one morning and asked a group of my healer friends if they wanted to help me teach the world how to heal themselves at home. And here now, just 5 months later, I am so proud to announce that our third volume will be launching very soon. And over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to introduce you to all of these brilliant, wise, heart-centered badasses who said yes to this project. So ladies, thank you for being some of those badasses. I have Julianne O'Dwyer. She's an avid hiker and skier. Julianne recovered from autoimmune conditions and debilitating back, neck, shoulder issues, taking a natural approach. Previously a health coach at National Integrated Health Associates, Julianne now supports clients with nutrition, supplementation, hydration, with alkaline water, I like that topic, cellular rebuilding with redox technology and detoxification techniques. And you guys know I'm gonna hook y'all up with the websites down in the show notes later, okay? You can find Julianne at healthylivingwithjulianne.com or trekkingwithjulianne.com. I also have Dr. L with me. I'm not even doing the last name. I'm going to let you do it later. She is a board certified doctor of natural medicine and a board certified doctor of traditional naturopathy. That was another one I needed to practice. She is a bariatric and holistic nutritionist, an advanced energy practitioner, and a certified hypnotist. She's also a national wellness speaker and an author. You guys are going to find her at wellspringnaturalhealthsolutions.com. And I have Miss Lisa Karasek, who was also an author in our volume 1 book here with me. She is an expert quantum healer who's able to update her clients' states of being to assist in healing using ancient, multidimensional healing and angelic energies, consciousness-based practices. Lisa powerfully guides her clients to a healthier, happier, more purposeful life. And you guys are going to find her at lisakarasek.com. Whoa, now you guys know why I wanted 50 words, right? Okay, so thank you, ladies, for being here and just sharing yourselves, your stories, your tools with the world. These books have been amazing. The project has been amazing, and that's really because of you guys. So, Julianne, I'm going to start with you. Your chapter was about a healthy liver, and you, like any of us, could have written about so many different things. So, thank you for taking on the challenge of picking just one thing, but talk to us about your chapter and about this healthy liver that we need to think about.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Laura. I'm really excited to be part of the project. You're amazing. So many of you may be familiar with the word detoxification in relation to rehabilitating alcoholics and drug addicts. What I found is that nutritional detoxification is very overlooked and underestimated by the conventional medical community and by many holistic practitioners as well. And what I learned in my journey in my recovery is that what you eliminate from your body is as important as what you consume. Because if that bad stuff sticks around too much in your body, i.e. your colon, and then eventually your liver, which is the primary detoxification organ, it gets reabsorbed. So what does that mean to you? A lot of the health issues that we're facing on a regular basis, chronic issues, blood sugar issues, life-threatening issues, and even the smaller issues, sleep, hormone balance, thyroid balance, all of these things, the liver is a contributor if it's too loaded up, if it's too toxic. So I found in my journey that as I focused not only on the liver, but the whole digestive system in terms of detoxifying and repairing and replacing cells that have been damaged in the digestive tract by an array of toxins. So that, of course, would be pesticides in your food and insufficient water, mercury amalgam fillings, vaccinations, personal care products, airplane fumes, car fumes, all of these things contribute. And if we don't eliminate on a regular basis, and that's really after each meal, we were designed to eliminate. And if we're not, then we're storing, and that can contribute to an array of issues, including metabolism. So weight loss is a key component. So as I got involved in that, as I studied with a colon therapist, I learned a number of ways to clean out the colon, clean out the body, and reverse aging, and be happy and healthy and go trekking.
What I loved about your chapter after reading it was just I had a perspective that I didn't have before, and you guys, each of these chapters does that for you. And so every time you can have a shift in the way that you're looking at something, you get an idea of what's possible, an idea that you didn't have before. It's a game changer. It can be a game changer. And I know that I wasn't really thinking about elimination as much as I was thinking about what I was putting in. And I so got after reading your chapter that both are equally important. And if you aren't thinking about the one, you could have a whole opportunity there for so many things, just for great health in general. So I thank you for that. So I'm going to move over to Lisa for a minute and ask her to talk about her chapter. And the quick thing I wanted to say about this topic, Lisa's writing about mudras and mantras, and she talked about consciousness in volume 1. Like, who says yes to writing the chapter about consciousness? So thank you for doing that. It's a big, big topic. And all of y'all could have 5 books each on these topics that you're writing about. But mudras and mantras, I loved the very first time I learned about what a mudra even was. And so I'm going to ask you to just explain what that is to our viewers, and then a little bit more about the tool that you're teaching in the book.
Okay, and again, thank you. And the more I hear you talk about this series and how you began in March and called us, every time I hear you, I cry a little. So thank you. But I really am so honored to be in with all of this and all of you. I can't wait to give everyone a big hug. So in the first volume, I just kind of wrote my chapter, where this chapter in volume 3 gave me the opportunity to tell my story. I've written about my story, my personal story, in other places, a few pieces here and there, but it was always one-sided because as a result of my story, I'm trying to move away from where I was. And in this chapter, for the first time, I just put it all out there. So it all came together for me, and it was truly an amazing experience. And the tool that I chose, tools, technically, mudras and mantras, I'm serious. They really helped me get through the worst point of my life, the absolute worst point of my life. I had gone through something really tragic and horrible, and the mudras and mantras gave me reason to wake up every day. They provided the energy and inspiration to keep getting up out of bed every day. And so a mudra is a hand gesture. When we're meditating, we tend to want to, make a hand gesture and sit them, the backs of our hands on either our knees or laps, or, sometimes we place them at our navel or something like that. And a mantra is basically something that we chant because we need to believe it. And I found that the two together really raised me up and became my saving grace. All of that energy that those brought to me at my lowest point not only helped me wake up every day, but really gave me, it got me back into remembering that I'm supposed to be here and actually living a life and bringing my experiences to others. And hopefully it does the same for you all.
So, and thank you all, because I know, like I said, y'all could have written about so many different sorts of tools that are in your own toolkit. And that's what makes you as a practitioner so unique for your clients and clients and the people of the world. We need a lot of different kinds of ways to do this, because not one way is great for every body, right? And so thanks for also saying yes to this challenge I gave you guys of writing it, because writing it down, y'all are master teachers. You do this every day with everybody, and that's one way to teach. But to say yes to the challenge of actually writing in a book, again, thank you for taking that on and just doing it so brilliantly. And the chapter that you wrote, Lisa, and all of your chapters, they're awareness tools. If I can help somebody wake up a little bit in mind, body, or soul, and there's more than that, right? So somebody talked about environmental kinds of factors and spirit and all of these ways, and relationships and all the ways that we are a whole human being. If we're waking up a little bit, again, to possibilities, then the game changes and it gets really exciting. So Dr. L, talk a little bit about yours. So you're gonna do a little self-hypnosis in your chapter. Tell us about that and why you picked that one.
Well, because hypnosis is one of the services that I offer for my clients, and I found that it's hugely beneficial. It became beneficial for me. Just like all these other women, we've been through some challenges in our life, and we had to find out how can we rewrite our story, if you would. And I learned how to do hypnosis, and then as I was beginning to write hypnosis scripts, I discovered that I was like going into the hypnosis. And, so I'm writing and I'm like, oh my, that you're in it, because I was reading it as I was typing it. And I said, how cool is that? So we know how powerful the mind is. And, you love to talk to yourself. You do. If you say you don't, you're fibbing, and your body thinks you're brilliant. Your brain thinks you're brilliant. So it just will listen to anything that you have to tell it. So over the years, I've followed some of the similar paths of these ladies that I'm on this brilliant call with. And again, thank you so much for joining us people that are watching this, but also for allowing me to join this group. And when I was doing hypnosis, I found that when the person created their own, these are the words that are important to me, that part, the body responded to it far more eloquently than if I wrote it in my words. Mm. So the body just wants to hear what you want to tell it, and it will say, okay. So if you say, I see Joe Schmo and he gives me a headache. Okay, every time you see Joe Schmo, you're going to have a headache. But if you see every time I see Joe Schmo, it makes me happy and joyful, then you become happy and joyful. So that was part of the reason why I created a little way for people to learn how to reprogram themselves in a safe way with their eyes open. So basically you're just, fill in the blanks of what you want to write and just read it to yourself. And then if you want to do an audio copy of it and listen to it, because your brain just wants to hear you and it believes you and it trusts you. So that's kind of how that came into format for me.
Yeah, what you're making me think about is just, I want the viewers to understand, whoa, do you feel the power in that? Because a lot of us are caught up in self-sabotaging kinds of language. And we're telling ourselves things all day long in terms
Yep.
of thoughts and beliefs, and then actually out loud we're doing that too, right? So if you think about that for just a minute, you get the choice there. But if you're so unconscious about it all the time that all you're telling yourself is the bad stuff, no wonder
You
we don't.
become that. Right. Another thing I want people to be mindful of is, when you're in the car and you're singing along to the song, listen to those words, because remember,
Yes.
you're singing it out loud, right? And when you hear one of those songs, like it'd be like, Bye Bye American Pie, that one, you listen to that one, you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't sing that anymore,
Yes.
So when it gets to those words that you shouldn't say, just whoop, zip it.
How did you know? How did you know?
Right. And you're like, cancel, like, don't sing that one,
Yes.
and so just be aware. Your words are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful, and you are powerful. So, choose words that are helpful for your body and your mind.
So Dr. L, I'm going to stick with you for this next question.
Sure.
We all are holistic practitioners. Why holistic? Why is that important?
Well, to me, like I said, I'm a doctor of natural medicine. So I'm that doctor that, the physicians don't want to talk to sometimes, because I have that other side of the fence to take a look at. As a holistic practitioner, we're looking at the ways that nature created, that I believe that on this planet, all of our resources are here that we need to help not only the earth heal, but our bodies heal as well. In plant medicine, let's just say if you get poison ivy, did you know that the remedy is right next to it? The plant is right next to it. So the earth has been very complementary.
Wait a minute. Nobody told me that one.
Yeah. Don't be rubbing all those plants on you though. Okay. You got to figure out the right one. Okay. So for me, holistic health is huge. And, I've had the wonderful opportunity to work in integrative medicine. Now, I'm not a physician, think doctorate, PhD-ish, right? But I've worked integrative medicine, side by side with medical physicians. And I think the most awareness I had is their limitation of their beliefs, that, they were taught ABC and that's all there is. We're being very fortunate that there are some medical communities that are out there going like, hey, maybe we should look over here. Because the basis of all of our medicine is from plants. And as my funny story is, I actually was working with a physician who was a biochemist as well. And we were talking about plant medicine. He goes, oh, that stuff doesn't work. I'm like, well, where do you think like aspirin came from, So our great-great-grandmothers knew how to keep people well. So to me, having a holistic approach was a way I grew up with. My family is from Belgium. So as my parents came here, all I knew was a natural remedy, if you would. My mother would pop a little pastille in my mouth. And that became my mindset. So when other medicines came in, it was very like, what is that? I found that it didn't work for me. And I figured if it didn't work for me, it's not going to work for others. So as I learned about different things, and mind you, I didn't go become a doctorate, to have my doctorate until I was almost 40 years old. I had gone back to school to study because I thought it was brilliant. And Julianne, in regards to your liver cleanse, I had studied candida eradication, which is about cleaning up the body and learning there are ways, because I had gotten sick and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And, thousands of dollars of blood work with no insurance, by the way. At that point for my career, the doctors couldn't give me any answers. So I sought out the holistic approach and I found a program that worked. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to scream this from the rooftops. And I was very fortunate that the woman that trained me in these things, she says, honey, why don't you go back to school and become a doctor? And it was like, oh, someone gave me permission to go back to school. So that's what I did. And so holistic is the way that I choose. And I know a lot of people are, because they're getting results and there's no side effects. Why not?
Yes. Oh my gosh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, add your 2 cents to the holistic discussion. What's important about that to you in terms of what you're doing?
In terms of what I do, well, I use holistic in both ways to spell it, HOLISTIC and then WHOLISTIC for the whole person.
Yep.
And then so I agree with everything that you said, Dr. L. And a Julianne also. So I'm fully, and I went to school right out of high school. I went to college for nutrition. I was a dietetics major, all that. So we're all, my body is my temple, food, everything. I'm into that as well, which is why I went on to do the eating psychology. But the holistic point, we have many different bodies. We have a spiritual body, a mental body, an emotional body, a physical body, an ethereal body. You know, we have all of these different bodies, all of these different systems that we operate under, and they make us who we are as a whole. Mm-hmm. So it's the holistic practice for the whole person. And that's my 2 cents. So as a multidimensional healer, I work with all of those bodies and try to bring peace to all of them.
And I know some of the viewers don't have any clue what you're talking about in terms of, don't I just have one body? And rather than having you explain that all right this moment, because that would be a whole nother podcast we may need to do, by the way. I want to encourage you all, if you're hearing something you've heard for the first time today and it just makes you curious, then that's part of the mission here, is to get you guys curious about the possibilities, right? And so when you dive into these different forms of healing, you will find ways to heal that you never knew existed, profound, effective, long-lasting ways. Mm-hmm. And that's why I get so excited about talking about holistic. Julianne, what do you want to add to the holistic conversation?
Yes, this is great information. And really, the challenge here is that the conventional medical approach addresses the symptoms. Mm-hmm. Holistic approach, as Dr. Al and Lisa mentioned, addresses the underlying causes. And that can be physical, mental, or emotional, mm-hmm. or all three. Mm-hmm. Think of a car, right? Every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, you get an oil change in your car, or what happens? You start to run dirty oil through your car, mm-hmm. and you develop symptoms. Your car develops symptoms. And then you go see your mechanic eventually, and he frowns at you. Right? But it continues to work until finally it stops a long period of time down the road. Well, your body continues to function with the conventional medical approach, but you develop these symptoms. Mm-hmm. And so what we want to do is look beneath covers and make sure that we're figuring out what is the underlying cause. In that regard, that causes us to think outside the box. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was tired for many years, and finally I was diagnosed with leaky mercury fillings. Mercury amalgam fillings. And subsequently, when I worked in an integrative clinic, I noticed the doctors would always ask that question. These are the doctors, naturopathic doctors like Dr. Al, and then medical doctors with an alternative approach, and say, tell me about your dental health. And patients would say, what does that have to do with my Lyme, Parkinson's, diabetes, and so forth? And so that is thinking outside the box, right? Because with every swallow, the mercury infiltrates your blood, your tissue, your organs, your cells, and causes damage. So that's a big paradigm that needs to be addressed going forward. And of course, this is what we're trying to do in this book.
Yeah, and it just repeating that if you are one of those people, I'm going to stick with you for a minute, Julianne, on this next question, but if you're one of those people who's been to a crap ton of practitioners, doctors are telling you this, diagnosing you with this, but you haven't had the results, or the results have been only temporary, or the treatments have been addressing symptoms but not the underlying root causes of things, right? You might be really losing hope about feeling better. And that's one of the missions here too with the book, is to, I mean, I know I say it a lot, but just to give people the possibilities. So Julianne, the question goes like this: what would you say to somebody who is really losing hope about feeling better in general?
Right. Yes, and I was there. I was in the abyss physically. And usually, over my lifetime, my glass was usually half full. I was a pretty happy, cheerful kind of person. but really got worn down by the physical, had over 40 symptoms. And eventually that wore me down emotionally. I got depressed and hopeless. I felt a sense of hopelessness. That was the overwhelming feeling every day when I woke up. And it affected my career, so I had two things going on. And what I found was that I really needed to dig deep within. And when I thought I couldn't dig deep within, I had to dig deeper within.
So what would you say to the person that's sitting in your exact shoes? Talk to me. Tell me what you would say to them right now. They are watching you right now.
Yes. Yes. So you can do and be more than you think you can.
Yeah.
You have a lot more energy. You have a lot more heart. You have a lot more conviction than you think you do. I frankly became a fan of Tony Robbins. There's a lot of self-help gurus out there, but for me, he really appealed to my intellect, because that's where the emotions really start, right? You start thinking negative thoughts and you feel discomfort, and then it just circles and circles and you feel overwhelmed. And so I found that his books, Awaken the Giant Within, for example, was helpful in helping me reprogramming my thinking every day, and starting to believe in myself and speaking the truth. Like Dr. L said, don't speak the negatives. I mean, when I've had a number of autoimmune issues, and when I say I've recovered from a tick-borne illness, people say, you can't recover. And I say, I have, and I said it before I believed it. And I constantly speak, because what you speak, your body hears. And so things may go dormant. I don't know if it goes dormant, if it goes away, I don't know. But you want to speak and you want to write. So I used to write it down. What am I thankful for? And the list was really, really short. Food, shelter, car that works. Over here, the list was, oh my gosh. So my goal every week was to make this list shorter and this list longer. So an attitude of gratitude sounds a little bit like a platitude, but it's what can you be thankful for today, and start to tap into your inner soul, your inner strength, and know that you can pull yourself out. You may move slower than you would like, but document your progress. Oh, okay, a week ago I was here and now I'm here.
So one of the cool things in the book, you guys, that you're going to find is that you're going to get tools for mindset. You're going to get tools for physical body. You're going to get tools for soul and spiritual type of connection and healing. And we integrate all of those things, hence this conversation about holistic, right? Lisa, what would you say to somebody who is losing hope?
Oh, don't sit and swim in that emotion. Just there, if you believe that's what it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. I mean, it's the same underlying theme that we're all speaking here. But yeah, you have to you have to want it. You do, and you do definitely have to work for it. The hardest part for most people is to do the actual work. We all want to just wish that the next thing is going to come in and it's going to, we're going to tap into it and it's going to change our minds and blow our minds and change our lives. But it really doesn't happen that way until you really address the core issues, your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, what's yours, what's not yours, where your energy is vibrating, the type of energy that you're emitting and attracting, and really understand the whys of it all, the ins and outs. And you do have to do the work. And your energetic body is, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're making me think of just asking the questions. If you can't do anything else, get curious. If you can't jump from feeling horrible to the joy place that I love to hang out so much, then how about just neutral with a breath? How about just asking the questions, right? You're just making me think of that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I asked you to speak first, because what I was getting ready to say is your energetic body is longing for something, and you mentally, physically, egotistically, not in a bad sense, but as you're saying, the curiosity, that ego curiosity needs to tune into what's happening energetically. And from there, something new is created. And so for the person who thinks that they're at the bottom, look, we've all been to hell and back at some point. We've all been through something. You're not alone. We can all do it, but you have to want to do it. You have to be willing to do the work. And the rewards are great when you do.
Exactly. That's, you were reading my mind. Dr. L, what do you want to add to that? Unmute yourself for me.
Beautiful answers, by the way, ladies. Great job. I have always had that belief system that giving yourself a positive thought, like I know in my world, it's do the body no harm. So think good things, eat as clean as you can, keep yourself into areas that are more positive for you. Even if you're in such a bad place, pick your favorite color, right? Pick your favorite color, breathe it into your body. Like just so silly, like think pink, breathe it in, make yourself, just have a smile. And that's enough to change you enough so that you can step forward. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's people like us that have been through the fire. And let me tell you, it doesn't always have to be hard. People think that healing is hard. It's not. You can do it with joy. You can do it with bliss. Find a practitioner that you align with, if you want to be in person. If not, these books are an amazing tool. We all put our love and joy into this book because we are all gifted healers, and not out of vanity, but it's what we do because we love it. We want to change the lives of people, and we know that by choosing a path of self-healing, you too can become well if you choose to. So that's what I have for that part of it, but you have the opportunity to become well. Choose happy.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to remind everybody. Any owner of any of our volumes has the opportunity to come into our private Facebook community for the book where the authors are hanging out. And this is such an incredible bonus for buying one of these books, you guys. And any one of the books will get you in there. And I'll hook you up in our show notes today with how to go about that. But this is a place where you actually can ask questions of all of these amazing expert authors. They're going to be doing training in their topic areas in there. There are already several trainings that you can take advantage of and listen to. Such an incredible opportunity to get around high vibe people who have been there, understand what's up, and will give you that feeling of hope and possibility and just thinking a little bit differently on the journey in general. So yeah, take advantage of that for sure. You all understand this, and it's why you're here with this particular project, but empowering our clients to connect to that inner wisdom, to find their own answers, to be able to do self-healing. This is such an important topic. And of course, COVID was kind of like the fire got lit under me in that big way to say, whoa, we all just lost all of our hands-on healers that we may have been accessing if we could at the time, right? Lost all of that. And now the responsibility is on us. Well, that's terrifying for some people, but for us, we know that there are ways to do this, right? And so, Dr. L, I'm going to stick with you for a second. Tell me about how you empower, maybe one of the ways you empower your client to connect with that inner wisdom and inner healer.
I will do it as a demonstration.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So basically the first thing I tell them is teach them how to ground, because most people don't know. I mean, you could just as easily, depending on where you are in the world, take your shoes off, walk outside, step in the grass, right? That's what it's there for. If you don't like the grass, okay, find something else you'll step on outside. Hug a tree, grab a rock, something. But one of the easiest ways that I found for you to, or someone to get into their body is, and we all know, is breath work. You know, breath is how we live, right? So I would just gonna all invite you, I'll do it first, but you're gonna take a deep breath in, you're gonna hold it, and you're gonna say one, release some breath, one, release some breath, one, release some breath. And you'll see your shoulders drop. So we can do that one more time together. Okay, deep breath in, hold it, say one, let some breath out, one, let some more breath out, and one, and let the rest, all the breath out.
Nice.
So for those of you watching the show, did you see Laura's shoulders? They went from here to like, woo, like that, right? So what that does is that gets you into your body. You're bringing more oxygen to your tissue. So to your brain is like, hey, thank you, we're here. But it also does, on our world, bring the mind, the body, and soul together as in a number one, right? And saying the word one out loud, your body goes, okay, the harmony of the sound, the breath goes into the body, and then you can take another deep breath, and then you can move forward. So that's my little 1-1-1 that you can try.
I especially love it because I'm a fan of body awareness in general, and I will link people up to feeling as an avenue for lots of different things. I marry it with writing and almost everything else because understanding that language is really important. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Julianne, talk to me about a way that you empower your clients and connect them with that inner wisdom.
I encourage people to go outside and exercise, especially now. I've been stunned at the amount of Zoom calls I've been in where people have said, I've been inside for 3 months and only left to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Please go outside. If it's to walk your dog around the block, take a jog. If you're a hiker, skier, crazy outdoorsy gal like me, go to the mountains. I happen to live in the DC area. We have Shenandoah National Park near us. And I hiked there when it was closed.
You can breathe on the trees.
Get in touch with nature. It's very empowering. I've always, over my lifetime, taken my worries to the wind out in nature. And when I was sick, maybe it was divine intervention, but I lived in Colorado, where I had always wanted to live. And I think that's part of how I recovered, is because I was constantly surrounded by mountains. And as my health allowed me, I would hike, I would downhill ski, cross-country ski. I learned to whitewater kayak. And this is all in between, you know, health crises and career crises, but it filled my soul. And so when your soul is full and you're happier, you start to forget and you start to focus less on the discomfort, on the hopelessness, on the despair and the anxiety. So go outside.
Yeah, not to mention the higher vibes you are literally going to be infused with by being in those earthing environments, right? So important. I think almost every holistic practitioner I've spoken to will say nature as a connection. I do know people who aren't so loving of that, but it's always rare when I meet them. Lisa, tell me about how you empower your clients and connect them with their inner wisdom.
I help them to embody. So I do eating psychology coaching as well as tension and trauma releasing with people. And I find I bring everything together with the energetic healing, because when you can release that which does not belong to you, or that which is ready to be healed or overcome, whether it be from this lifetime, from this childhood, from another lifetime, from an ancestral hand-me-down, whichever energetic body is releasing at the moment. And I see all three in my TRE students. And then overcoming the physical ailments, the symptoms, recovering from the symptoms for what you are dealing with as an issue or a struggle this lifetime. Getting your body back, getting back into your body, finding your authentic self, healing from within, And then my energy work that I do, the energy modality that I practice, helps with just clearing all of that out and raising your vibration, right? Raising your perception, giving you a new insight, a new way to live, be, and do life. And really it's about getting your power back and releasing that which does not belong to you or that is no longer needed. So I'm a big advocate for, the TRE, obviously letting go, tension and trauma releasing exercises, and then get back into your body and accept yourself for where you are. Because when you can accept yourself for where you are and what you've been through, and, identifying to your imprints and what your story is, as you begin to overcome it and heal from it and restore it in a more positive light, and from the perception of happiness and joy, your body shapeshifts and changes anyway. So it's all about seeking who you want to be outside of yourself usually isn't the way to do the work. You kind of have to go in and feel into what's ready to be healed now. And I find that it works that way. And then I love, being able to give the energy to boost that. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. I'm going to stick with you for our last question for all of you, but I'm going to start with Lisa. Okay. And this is all your fault, Lisa, because you just made me think about something that will help people to sometimes you don't know, you've lost your sense of what it feels like to be in that authentic self. And so tell us what that feels like.
Oh, I don't remember, to be honest, because I pulled out of it. I came through it. But you're just numb, I think is probably a good word.
No, I mean the positive, authentic self. I mean, when you're sitting in the place that you feel, what I'm after here is sometimes you don't know what the feeling is you're even going for because you're so lost. So I want you to tell our viewers what the good stuff feels like.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was going the other way. Going back to my story. So I'm sorry, just to clarify. So what does it feel like to be in that?
When you're living your full
ultimate joy,
connected, aligned self, how does that feel? Briefly now. I want everyone to answer this question.
I mean, it's magic. It's pure magic. Everything it's like a switchboard. You're just lit up. I mean, everything glows and everything shines and your thoughts are just, I don't know, it's like that perpetual smile that you can't slap off your face.
That's a good one.
And you feel that inside as well. It's just, I don't know, it's just pure bliss. Pure bliss.
Thank you for trying to answer that question. I knew it would be a hard one, but I think it's important because we're all so good at suffering, aren't we? Like we spend so much time thinking about that and talking about the problems and focusing on, so that's why I wanted to sort of end this way. Julianne, what's your version of this? What does it feel like when you're in that?
I'm so glad you asked that question because many times when you're in the abyss, you forget. I forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
And so as I climbed out of the abyss with my health improved and my emotions started to stabilize. I didn't feel the drops. I felt more stable. And then I started to feel joy. And a lot of the joy came not because my circumstances were fantastic, because I was still climbing out, but because I was thankful.
Nice.
I was really thankful every day. I was thankful I wasn't where I was.
I love the clues you're giving people about the emotions stabilize. It doesn't feel like such a crazy roller coaster as much. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's important. Again, so thank you, ladies, for trying to answer a hard question Because sometimes I think if we just have these conversations and we have all of these different viewpoints of how that feels, it gives people an idea, right? Like, oh yeah, okay, I have been feeling a little bit more chill this week. All right, I think I'm going in the right direction here. Or like you mentioned, your actual health starts to improve and you can see signs of that, feel signs of that in your body. Dr. L, what do you think on this one?
Oh, girls, you did a good job. Yeah, so that sense of bliss and comfort and security, but also the fact that you realize you're not holding your breath all the time.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
You know, because that's the big thing is when you're in stress like that, you're always, you know, like you're ready in fight or flight. And then again, same thing, you know, like you find yourself smiling for who knows why, you know, and that life has changed a little bit for you so that you have that availability to go, I'm okay. And even if you have a step back for one day, you can remember and go, yeah, I was happy yesterday. How was that? And to stay in that feeling of joy and happiness and grace, if you would, and just be, you know, I know it sounds silly, but, you know, smile, give yourself a hug. And that's what that feels like. It feels like a nice warm hug when you feel like you've jumped over the edge.
I love again, the sign of the breath hold. Wow, that's a big one, you guys. So if you're listening and you can even just check in with that, that one thing, you'll have a huge clue. And with that awareness, then, of course, is the magic of you get the choice to take the deep breath right in that moment. So are you all checking in with that? And are you checking in with yourselves in all the ways, right? Ladies, thank you so much for just for your authentic answers to all of these questions and for being who you are in the world, for the work you're doing, and for saying yes to this project.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, remember that you can explore the websites. They're going to be in the show notes. I will have some links up where you can explore the current books. Volume 3 is due out very soon. We have our private Facebook group and all of the good stuff. So I'd like to end today with just one more thought for you all. You were born, so you are worthy. Your message matters. What if the thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? It's time to be brave, you guys. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Be well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.